Hey everyone, it's Neil Patel, and today is another day of CRO Unlocked. We're in week 2, lesson 2, where we're going to go over e-commerce strategies as well as some best practices. E-commerce sales have been booming. Last year alone, 4.2 trillion US dollars worldwide, which is a ton of money, and it's expected to grow to over $6.54 trillion by 2023. Online shopping is one of the world's most popular activities, especially during periods like Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And if you look at a lot of the large e-commerce company based on GMV, Alibaba is massive, same with Amazon, JD, eBay, Shopify, and the list just keeps adding up, and these companies are all keep going to grow at a very rapid pace as more people start buying online. I want you to go to neilpatel.com/training and click on CRO Unlocked, where I want you to download your GMV guide and use the steps to optimize your business. When you think about the world's largest retailers, there's a lot of retailers, and these are not all fully online. Some of them are offline/online, so they do a little bit of both, like Amazon, Walmart, Costco. Amazon's mainly online these days, but they do own some offline stuff like Whole Foods. And even companies like Home Depot in the United States, they're quite large as well. There's a lot to learn from these retailers, so let's go over the most valuable lessons. Number 1, protect your success and learn from every mistake. Then you want to learn everything you can about your business. You need to be super competitive, just like how sometimes there's price wars, or sometimes they get really creative doing not just free shipping, but free next day air shipping. You want to focus on retaining customers and providing the best experience. I've also found that when you're just doing CRO and you're competing in business, being persistent, putting your team first, whether that's safety or whether that's, just making sure that they're doing well from a mental, emotional standpoint. Innovation is also huge. The more innovative you can get. Sometimes these days I'm seeing deliveries actually happen by little drone bots that are just roaming around the street, which is pretty innovative and is helping them get a leg up on their competition. And no matter who you are, you're going to have some failures. Just learn from them and keep adapting and tweaking and innovating. I also never want you to stop experimenting. You need to be willing to fail and then adapt and learn from your mistakes so you can just keep going, because with CRO, you're not going to get the results you want always on the first time or even second or third or fourth. But if you keep going, eventually things will work out for you as long as you're following the lessons, the worksheets, the cheat sheets, the handouts that we're giving you, so that way you can maximize your sales. You need to obsess about your customers. Amazon does this really well. You need to really figure out what they want. And if you figure out what they want and you obsess about that and you provide that, you'll win. Identify and remove any risk in your business. You can't do it for all of it, but you can do it for some. Don't think short term. Be willing to take short term losses for long term gains. The other thing that I found is you need to have the right team. I don't care how smart you are. Elon Musk isn't the one putting everything into space. Yes, he's part of it, but it's also his team. And Jeff Bezos didn't create Amazon on his own. He had an amazing team. You need to be stubborn but flexible. If you have data that shows that you're going to be right, that's fine, but you also need to be flexible to other people's input and ideas. I recommend that you diversify your offerings over time, and speed and agility are super important, especially with testing. I have an asset for the top 25 retailers and what you can learn from them. You can find it all at neilpatel.com/training. Click on CRO Unlocked, week 2, lesson 2. You should also consider that trends are going to constantly change, and they're changing at a quicker pace, but you need to be leveraging them. And you need to go online, claim your business in Google, use the different social media platforms, whether you like the, what is that chat company, Clubhouse, or whether you like TikTok or hate it, it doesn't matter. So just start leveraging them, and if they work, great, use them more. If they don't, then at least you have your account, and if it ever picks back up, then you can start leveraging it in the future. Optimize your content, your product pages, your emails. Think of everything as a whole funnel. Decide what to gate on your content, how to use online advertising. Should you create a community, be part of it? And once you get the traffic, one of the highest converting channels that you'll find is retargeting. And when you retarget to those people, you'll find that because they're already warm to you, they're much more likely to convert. I love retargeting. And you can do this on Facebook, you can do this on YouTube, you can do this on Google, you can do this through banners all over the world. It works extremely well, and Facebook and Google are the two main channels to use for retargeting. I have a guide on this. Again, you can get it at neilpatel.com/training, CRO Unlocked, week 2, lesson 2. If you've used messenger bots, it works extremely well. There's Mobile Monkey. It's a tool that I love. You should check it out. And messenger bots are easy to set up. They have a wizard that walks you through it, set it up, and you can only send one message every 24 hours if people aren't responding. You're only allowed to send them one or more messages if they're responding to you, or else you'll risk getting blocked. So just be careful with messenger bots. The benefit, though, compared to emails, is their open rates. Messenger has 80% plus open rates, while email's roughly at 20%. Real people are less likely to continually open your messages, though, if you can't get them to reply. So just make sure your messages are much more personalized, and that's what these bots are for. And ways you can use them, I like using them for lead capturing, giveaways. I love using them for quizzes and webinar signups. And you can just build up a connection with your audience. I have a guide on messenger bots. You can get it at the same place that you get all the other guides. It's in week 2, lesson 2. One other thing to keep in mind is, hey, what are your competition doing? So you're using messenger bots, you're going out there, you're optimizing your conversions, you're doing retargeting, you're doing all these things that we've talked about in this lesson and previous lessons, but what are your competitors doing? And that's something that I want you to keep in mind too when you're going throughout this whole process. There's the Porter 5 forces model that you should check out. Threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, rivalry among existing competitors. There's also the PEST Analysis. It analyzes the external environment of an organization, often the most important analysis. Then the most common one that a lot of people have heard of is the SWOT analysis. It analyzes things like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Hence, it stands for SWOT. When you take all the data that you're getting from these analysis, whether it's the PEST method or SWOT analysis or the Porter 5, it'll give you test ideas. And when you're running tests, you can end up running A/B tests or even multivariate tests. And a multivariate test is when you're taking many different elements on a page and combining them and seeing what the best combination is, versus just doing a straight up A/B test. And with CRO, unless you're getting a lot of traffic, you're probably going to end up doing A/B testing versus a multivariate test. And you can use the neilpatel.com/A/B testing calculator to figure out which variation is winning. Or in Crazy Egg, it just tells you which variation is winning, so you don't really even need to use the calculator. So how are companies like Amazon, Newegg, Shopify, and BigCommerce using CRO to maximize revenue? Well, they're optimizing their site speed, they're constantly improving their website navigation, they're optimizing their call to actions, and even testing new headlines. In addition to that, you'll constantly see social proof, hence they have all these ratings and detailed reviews, and they're combating fake reviews because that helps reduce abandonment cart rates. They also optimize the checkout process by letting people pay through multiple payment methods such as PayPal. And throughout this process, what they found is the simpler they make it, the better they get with conversions. Just like how Shopify has that shop now where you just click a button, you log in, it pre-fills everything, and then boom, you're off into the races. If you need help with your conversion optimization, check out my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital. If you just enjoyed this video, like it, share it, tell people about it. Thank you for watching.